My name is Johanna Blakely, and I'm based as a researcher at the University of Southern California at a research institute called the Norman Lear Center. We're based at the Annenberg School for Communication and Journalism, and we study entertainment and media and its impact on society.
I'm Eddan Katz. I'm the International Affairs Director at the Electronic Frontier Foundation, a non-governmental organization based in San Francisco, defending rights online and internet freedom. I work on international issues and the range of from copyright and privacy to freedom of expression and cybercrime.
I gave a presentation at the Spanish National Library about some research that we've been pursuing at the Norman Lear Center for several years now, probably 7 years. We were very interested in the way in which intellectual property law affects artists, and so we were looking for an industry that had very little copyright protection to see how artists work in that industry. And the best example we could find was the fashion industry, where they really don't have any copyright protection. And yet it's a very successful and very innovative industry. So we held a conference called Ready to Share, Fashion and the Ownership of Creativity, and we published a book and several research papers on the topic.
I spoke today about democratic culture and copyright cops was the title, about the way that the information revolution, the digital revolution, has affected freedom of expression for individual internet users and for media companies, and the extent to which there's a clash between their interests, and focused on the democratic culture idea of freedom of expression in society that's spread so that individuals are active and engaged, interactive users on the internet and not just consumers. I think what needs to happen is something more closely related to the way that the internet works and the way that people distribute information and the way that they share things, so that there could be compensation for artists, and there could also be a freedom for individuals to share with each other works, and so that it would be calculated how many times something is downloaded or distributed or uploaded and then distributed to the artists based on that calculation. And this would be a voluntary thing, is what the Electronic Frontier Foundation recommends, rather than compulsory, because we don't think it would work and would actually undermine the initiative if it was forced. So I think to answer your question, it's not. Yeah, I think cracking the whip too hard, I think it misses the point of the changes that have taken place on the internet and the way that goods are distributed. And I would also add, though, that it's supposed to be a private right of action, and the increased focus of the government and the Department of Justice and the Cybercrime Division in intellectual property, I think, is handing over the private rights and claims to be enforced by the government. I think that's a bad development that undermines the kind of creativity that and the kind of new business models that are coming out on the internet.
I believe that there's I think the laws that we have regarding intellectual property in the United States right now are out of sync with the digital technology that all of us are using. It's so easy to copy and distribute things right now in a way that wasn't the case when our copyright laws were first drafted. Also, I think media conglomerates have had a very heavy hand in reshaping our copyright laws so that the extension of protection has become obscenely long. So I think we're going to continue to have trouble. Artists are going to have a hard time being compensated, and consumers are going to be frustrated until we figure out a legal framework that takes into account the affordances of digital technology.